Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. Today, I have the honor and pleasure of being in conversation with a wonderful girl, or should I say, a wonderful lady, who I thought was studying in Hyderabad and doing some course. And I got to know, no, 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 no. She's working with a leading multinational company in Hyderabad. I'm like, oh God, wow. I mean, who looks so young, who looks like a student, absolutely. So, as we say, we are all students for life. But here, there are certain unique qualities which you need to know about Nikhata. First, she got a 50%. Australia, they offer 50% as a maximum scholarship. She got a 50% scholarship in Australia to do her double masters. She was the Indian ambassador from her university, student ambassador, I would say. And normally we have a perception, no, of people who go abroad to study, they are unlikely to come back. But here we have someone who's a diehard Fauji by heart, because both her parents, a father and a mother, are very illustrious officers of our Indian armed forces, and they are my very, very respected seniors who I have great regards for, and so do I have great regard for Nikata. But if I go on, I can just go on and on talking about Nikhata. But let's leave the conversation to her. Nikhata, thank you and welcome for spending time for us.
Thank you so much, sir. You've said some wonderful and incredible words. And thank you for everything, for the lovely introduction.
Thank you, Nikhata. Nikhata, first, let's start from the very beginning about your childhood. Say, we know that you come from a Fauji family and your parents are illustrious officers. So, obviously, I mean, for a Fauji brat, either a Fauji brat like me shifts school after a year or two, or a Fauji brat like me goes to a boarding school.
Yeah.
Like I went to a boarding school. So let's hear about your education as a Fauji brat while growing up. How, because I know you have a very illustrious background in your education. You are a very intelligent girl, and I am feeling very little complex talking to such an intelligent personality over here. So let's talk about your school days, Nikata.
Like any 4G kid, I think I've changed about 8 schools. The first school that I was in, I still remember, was back in Amritsar. And lovely, lovely memories. I think, your schooling really helps you. And as 4G kids, we are so used to moving, and we get so adaptive with every move we make. We learn, we make wonderful friends all across the country. We gain new perspectives, we learn about new cultures. I think the last posting that I was with my parents until was class 12th, and which was in Calcutta. Had a lovely time in Calcutta. We were Dad was posted in Fort William, and mom was in command hospital there, and making good use of both Fauji parents, and then make good excuses in army schools कि please छोड़ दो हमें. I think apart from education in school, I have no memories. I just have good memories of having good fun in the bus, and making excellent friends for lifelong, and they're all over the world now. So it's been I owe it to the army.
Absolutely. You know, I was born at the command hospital, Calcutta, by the way. When my father
Oh
was,
wow.
yeah, my father was staff captain to General Jacob at that time, and this was
Okay.
1979, and I was born there that time. And 1979 looks must be sounding very ancient to you. 70s ka zamana. And of course, and then much later on, my father was. We also lived in Fort William. My father was GOC Bengal area, so that time the entire when you enter Fort
Hmm.
William, what a beautiful feeling! Yeah, it's amazing. So tell
It's
me, after
grand.
yeah, after your schooling, where did you go? I mean, where do your graduation from and such things?
So I moved for my graduation to Bombay, which is and studied in Tata Institute of Social
Of
Sciences. I did my
course.
social work there, and I did a specialization in rural development. And we actually also from Bombay we moved to a smaller town called Tuljapur because we were focusing on rural development, and it was wonderful. We got to spend a lot of time with various villages in around Maharashtra. I picked up speaking Marathi, whatever little broken, to converse with people.
Kasं
And
काय? तुझे नाव का है, माझं नाव निखता आहे, तुझे गाव
Yeah.
कुठला आहे?
Now it's all out, but you put me back in the setting, I'll be more than happy to go there and converse with everyone. It's just so nice to look at people who are happy in such little things that they have such, we want so much in life, and as humans our needs are never ending, but you go to these small villages and these towns and they see you, they're just happy with bare minimum. And as a family they live in a one bedroom house and they're so content. Also the food in villages is delicious, so I had a lovely time there.
Superb. I've spent some very good time in Mumbai myself, and in fact, this Tata Institute of Social Sciences is very, very prestigious. Tell me how it's very difficult to get through there. I mean, though you are very, very intelligent, that's a different thing. But tell me, that's a fact. But tell me, how did you initially first hear of this? Though we all know of this, we all know of IITs, we all know of IIM, we all know of the prestigious institutions. But when was the first you got to know of this actually?
So a very funny story. I was actually studying for to be a lawyer,
Hmm.
and so I would, and back in class 12th, we wanted to do something, and I just got into working with an organization that looked into the healthcare of sexually abused children. So that is what broke my head, to okay, there's a world of social work which is not really explored, and this is something that I'm interested in. And I started reading about it. I was doing my law simultaneously, studying for law. I gave my CLAT, got through that. But I TIS just happened. It just came in the way. My dad was like, there's this institute called TIS, and it's wonderful for social work. Do you want to give it a shot? And I was like, yeah, why not? The more the merrier. Let's give exams, see how it goes. And it just happened. And I get a call saying that you've been selected. And then we have an entrance exam. And then we had a interview. Thank God that went well because I was so nervous. But yeah, and then it's been a lovely ride. I'm really glad I chose this. Although the initial months were very scary, I was like, where have I come? Coming from being surrounded in a 4G background to being thrown in a village and being like, this is your life now. You have to live like this. So that was a little difficult, but I'm glad all happened.
So you spent 3 years in this, if I
Yes,
am not
that's
mistaken.
correct.
All right. And after that, you got a scholarship to go to Australia.
Yes.
So tell me, how did this about the Australia come about? You were in TIS and you were doing very well there. In fact, I have some friends from TIS. In fact, they were teaching there. They passed out from there as well. Some of them, like Ashwani sir, I wonder if he taught you with long hair. Ashwani sir, or there was Shrishti Sethi, and then there was Major Kumar Saurabh. In fact, anyway, so that's a different thing altogether. So tell me, how did you after that apply for Australia for after this? And I'm glad you did that, and I'm even more glad that you came back. That's even better. So tell us about how did you apply to go to Australia then?
So I remember we had to do a dissertation when we were back in college, and everybody had sorted out, that I want to go to Delhi University and I want to do this course and I want to do this course. They had the whole blueprint of the future planned out, and I, for one, I did not know what to do. I just knew, okay, I am interested in politics and I am interested in communication, and I can't do these two courses together. That's what everybody told me. But there's this voice inside you that you're like, no, I don't want to listen. I'm going to find my way to do it. So I started looking for universities internationally,
Hmm.
and I spoke to a couple of friends who were in Australia. And then they said, there is a concept called double masters. Why don't you look at that? And I was like, yeah, cool, sounds good. Let's go for it. And I really did not expect to hear back from them, but it all just worked out. Not only did I get admitted, they told me that, oh, you know what, you have a 50% scholarship as well.
So proud of you. So how many years did you spend in Australia?
I spent 3 years there.
3 years. And so tell me, how was your stint in Australia? Those 3 years must have been beautiful, in fact.
3 years I don't know how did they go by. I still feel like, it was just yesterday that I got back. But I think today what I am, I really owe to how, how independent foreign universities force you to be, in terms of not just picking up a part-time job, for instance, but also force you to think independently, make decisions without the help of anyone around you, because you're in a foreign land, you don't know anybody. There's no, even in the back of your mind, that, oh, if I'm going to mess this up, I don't have my parents coming and being like, it's okay, we'll take care of it. Or things, so many things happen in college that, you get caught by the cops or anything. See, as I think international students, we have to be a
Did
little
you ever get
careful.
caught by cops?
No, thankfully, no. I knew
Your
when to
parents
leave
would
the
be
country.
listening. All right, go ahead, go ahead.
So, but yeah, I think it makes you confident. It's definitely made me confident in terms of the decision I can take, and and the ability to think, and you're more well rounded now. You have an Indian perspective, from being hardcore patriotics to getting a feel of what India is from outside. Also, the feeling of when you go outside and somebody asks you, where are you from? You don't have to say which state, you can just say your country. And as 40 children, it's so difficult, right? When people ask you, ki, kahan se ho? You don't know what to say because you're born somewhere and you
All
do
over
this.
India. Where are you from? I'm from
Yeah.
all over India.
So I get a little frazzled when people ask me, kahan se ho? Or what's your mother tongue? And I'm just like, everything. Yeah. I'm just an Indian.
I can well imagine that.
Yeah. So that was
So
my journey in Australia.
recently, a few days back, there were attacks on some Indian students over there in Australia. It was very very bad, and it was taken up by the embassy over there. In fact, Mr. Mandeep Vora, Mr. Manpreet Vora, he's the Indian ambassador there, and Manpreet is a very dear old friend of mine. In fact, we've done theatre together when he was in Delhi. He's a very bright IFS officer. So he's currently the Indian ambassador there. And I mentioned on television, I spoke about it, and I was being interviewed on that. And I said that Manpreet Vora is there. He's raised the issue to the highest level, and everything is safe now. I have cousins over there, and but I'm glad you made the right choice in the right university. And then, of course, coming back, did you feel like coming back after spending 3 years in Australia, or you felt अब यहीं पे थोड़ा, did it ever cross your mind यहीं पे settle हो जाते हैं, brain drain इसको कहते
Well,
हैं.
I actually wanted to do that. That was the plan. But, well, COVID happened, and whatever we knew as is all thanks to the news. So what was happening back in India, and seeing mom go to the hospital all the time, and then there was so much of things. So my dad was posted in IMA back then, and IMA was absolutely tight on protocols, and that's all I was hearing. And in the news, a very dear friend of mine, he lost his dad, and he was a doctor. So it really scared me, and I was like, you know what? Let's just take the next flight and jump home. And then I did that. I came home, and then my mom was like, yeah, this is what news is saying. It's all fine, it's all under control. And then I said, okay, cool. Anyway, I'm here now. And then I thought I'll go back in about 15, 20 days. And that 15, 20 days became 2 years now, because the border shut down. So that never happened. But so in the bargain, I was getting bored in the house. I didn't know what to do. So I thought, let's just apply for jobs. Let's see how that goes.
Tell me about your responsibilities as the student ambassador of your university. How was it? How was the experience? Because it's a huge responsibility. You are representing the entire country, and everyone's looking up to you, and they judge you and they analyze you that, oh, the student ambassador Nikhata Ranpal is like this, so that's India basically for everyone else.
So it was basically a lot attending. It was really nice attending a lot of conferences. You got to meet a lot of people from all nationalities and all different student ambassadors talking. It was in fact like a network building, also a competition where, we're trying to put the best foot forward for our nation and our university. So it was always like, oh, you know what? These are the new courses our university is providing. You should look into it. So it was very free to shift from one university to the other. So we used to keep trying and luring people from one university to come to ours. And apart from that, as with India, it was always very nice. I got an opportunity to speak at my university as a guest lecturer and talk about how to go and proceed with higher education, and what are the things you need to look after in terms of your resume, your CV and cover letter, and how to basically take the plunge that to go to a foreign land.
Wow. Wow, that is cool. So tell me, of course, I mean, one of your friends mentioned the comment where you're working, and I didn't want to mention that. But tell me, how did you land up the job with the current company where you are working, and was it soon after Australia, or how was it? Like, how did you go about it?
It was, I think, after a couple of months after that. I think I just remember being so bored in the house. I did not have anything to do. It was, my life was just in the cantonment. You
Hmm.
know, you are in the house, you go to the gym, you go to the sports complex, you come back. So that's it. And I wanted something else to do with my life. So I thought, okay, all this education that I have, let's put it to some good use. And I started applying for jobs here and there. And so this job came in hand and everything was done. And my background check was not getting through because,
Oh,
we had to get in touch with people back in Australia, get them to send documents. And with the whole lockdown, you couldn't send documents. So that was a little task. It took about a while. And finally, it all got cleared, and things are like, even the company was like, okay, fine, I think you can come in now. Everything's clear. Your background check is clear.
right. I need to ask you something. Some friend of mine who were in IMA, who got trained over there, they told me that, one fine day when they had just reached the academy, so when they had their crew cuts, the short hair, you would have seen the cadets over the gentlemen cadets
Absolutely.
with short hair and all, in their muftis with their white shirt when they walk. So when they had gone for the training, the first day when they had their crew cuts, and they were running back after from the barber shop to their barracks, and there was a very senior officer whose name till today I don't know. He
Yeah.
had a very beautiful daughter, and they were passing by, and they passed through this squad of cadets. So one of the
Hmm.
notorious cadets, one of the person who was as notorious as me, perhaps, shouted from there, "Guys, the beauty and the beast!" Okay, so this instructor, the senior officer, turns around and says, "Come here, you bunch of jokers! Come here, clowns! Go on your hands for push-ups." Everyone went on their hands on push-ups. Then he stood there with his hand on his face and says, "Now come on, buggers, on up, on up. Which of you dared to call my daughter a beast?" So I don't know. So I don't know if that incident was it, did it occur with you, perhaps?
No, 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 it wasn't me.
Sorry, sir. Sorry, sir. If you are watching, yes, sir. Really, very youngster.
I'm
Honestly,
sure my
come
dad would have made it worse.
on. All right. So tell me, you have seen the discipline life in IMA. You have also seen the civilian life outside abroad as well. So how would you differentiate in sense of discipline for a person who is not from a non-Fauji background? I personally feel in India we need a dose of discipline among the citizens. You give them discipline, things will fall in order,
Absolutely,
right?
absolutely.
I'm glad
I
you agree with me on
I
that.
couldn't agree with you more.
How sweet is that? I'm glad you agree with me. Yeah? So tell me one thing, and I want to ask you one thing. Supposing with the kind of experience you've had, the exposure you've had, the kind of books you've read, the places you've been to, where you've traveled widely, not just in India but abroad as well, you get a chance tomorrow. You see the sweatshirt that I'm wearing?
Yes,
क्या लिखा
it's
है यहाँ पे?
TEDx. Yeah.
TEDx Good Shepherd International School. Okay, so you get a chance tomorrow. You get an invitation to speak on a TEDx platform. What would you like to choose to speak on? What was the idea you would like to throw to the universe? In fact,
Oh, I would, given this opportunity, I think I would love to talk about gender sensitivity and gender sensitization. I feel that is something that is gravely missing in our education system. in everyday interactions. Also, because it's not there in our education, we don't realize it. This is something that I realized it when I was working in the villages. And then you ask these little kids, and when you go to teach them in schools, and you ask all the kids there that if you had a day to you have a you need to describe your mom and your dad's day in their life, and who would you like to be? And
Hmm.
everybody, boy, girl, they all said they want to be like their fathers because they feel that their moms don't work.
God. They
Not
do the laundry,
realizing that, yeah, not realizing that the household chores that they're doing is all because of their mother. They're coming to school with tiffins in their boxes is because of their mothers, and that work is neglected. So, just being able to make that mentality shift, that all kind of work is work and all work is hard work. I would love to be able to talk about that. And even if it is, 10% or even 1% of our university students can hear that and accept that, my work would be like, I would be really satisfied in life.
then I'm sure I can. If you can see it happen, it happens. If you can see it happen to you, if you believe in it, I am certain that someone somewhere in the universe will conspire, and they will give
Absolutely.
you an invitation very soon. So the golden question, you got to be prepared with it. And I think it's a wonderful topic. Let me share a small anecdote with you. In the year 2008, I was posted in Nagaland that time. Same time, it was around 26th January, actually, around. So I was selected from Assam Rifles to come to Delhi to lead the Assam Rifles marching contingent for the Republic Day parade. Now I had two. Your mother, the doctor, so she would understand what I'm saying. I had two stress fractures in both my legs, and I was written off by the orthopedician that I cannot do the parade because I've got bad injuries in both my legs. Because जोश तो इतना था ना फौजी आदमी में कि I would stamp my leg, I would stamp my head too hard, my leg too hard. Well, there are wonderful comments coming in for you. I agree that these topics should be talked about from an early age and be the part of our everyday conversation to instill the idea of equality and equity. Thank you, Kriti. Absolutely, Kriti. Absolutely. I totally agree with you. And there are a lot of comments coming in for you. And then Shweta Palvi says,
Mhm.
congratulations, Nikhata, proud of you. Yes, we are indeed proud of you. And then, so I had this injury, but then I wanted to do the parade at any cost. So I went to a civil doctor because the army doctor has the power to write me off and send me back to Nagaland. So I went to a civil doctor. Finally, on painkillers, I did end up doing the parade, but I think I must have damaged my legs too hard at that time. On 15th January, we have the Army Day. So I was selected by the chief of the army staff that time. General Deepak Kapoor was the chief to come to Army House on a tree. There was a machan, there was a stage. So I announced from there. There was president, the prime minister, the everyone, the defense minister, defense secretary, the three service chiefs, the top brass basically of the country was there, and I announced, why is it that only a gentleman officer leads the parade? Why can't we
Absolutely.
ever have a lady officer lead at least a contingent? Anyhow,
Absolutely.
right? So I was very junior in service, and the idea was shot down somewhere. I don't know what happened, but in the year 2012, first time ever in the history of India, we saw an Air Force officer lead a contingent. In the year 2014, we had a naval officer, lady officer, lead a contingent. In the year 2015, we had Lieutenant Commander Sandhya. She led the contingent. Sandhya Chauhan. She's a friend of mine. So she in the year 2019, we had Major Khushbu Kanwar, who led the contingent of all ladies, the same contingent that I had led in 2008, Assam Rifles. And today we have permanent commission for ladies. They go to the National Defense Academy. So it's a wonderful topic that you have chosen, in fact. So could
In
you
fact,
speak?
pardon?
No, you go on. You go on, Nikita.
No, in fact, I really wanted to join the army, but my only thing was I want to join the army as an infantry officer. I don't want to be a doctor because I'm not very big on biology and medics and all of that. But that is still not allowed, and I think that is one thing that really holds me back. And if I could really make that happen, at least for the future generation, that they can go ahead in the front line and just fight for their country, why not?
You are right, and I totally agree with you. I totally concur there. Now, but I would also like to put your legs slightly on this and say, see, caught you. You don't want to be like your mother. You want to be like your dad. He's the infantry officer.
But my mom is the one. My dad kills, and my mom saves lives. So it's a balance.
The balance, absolutely, absolutely. And the reputation in the armed forces, not just the army, I'm saying armed forces, that your parents enjoy, it is something they rock solid. Your dad is known as as strong, I mean, solid infantry officer, and your mother, of course, in the medical fraternity, of course. Recently, like the way we are in conversation, I interviewed Lieutenant General Madhuri Kanetkar, the first lady officer from AMC, in fact, who became a lieutenant general in the army, and her husband also was in the army. Incidentally, he was the adjutant general. It was a wonderful conversation, and I really enjoyed being in conversation. Your mother knows her, in fact. So tell us more about this point. This is a very intriguing and a very interesting point you've brought out of gender equality. It's something which I do believe in. The ladies in my family are much more progressive than me, than any of us. In fact, my wife is doing a PhD, and my sisters are doing really well for themselves, and I'm so in awe of them. My mother, in fact, a wonderful homemaker. In fact, they do the maximum work 24/7. There are
Yeah.
no holidays, there are no Sundays, there's no 9 to 5.
Yeah.
So, women, in fact, there's one more thing I would like to say. If life on this planet has to exist, we need both man and woman. So, how can one say that man is superior to woman or woman is superior to man? If Eve was tempted by Satan, so did Adam yield to Eve's temptation. So, Nicola,
Absolutely.
but it's a topic very close to my heart. I would like to hear more on this, on gender equality, from you.
Absolutely. I think very small little things that just slip into everyday conversation. You don't even realize that, oh, you know what? Why is it that I can do it as a man and a woman can't do it? I was, in fact, having this discussion with a friend of mine, and he was coming from the airport at 12 o'clock, and I said, okay, cool, I'll come and pick you up since you're coming to my city. And it's like, no, it's not safe for women. So, and then there was a whole debate of, so whether do you agree that as a country we are safer for women and not safer for men, and where is your feminism and equality there? But I'm not saying men and women are equal. I'm saying men and women are different. We need to embrace these differences and treat them with what they deserve. I'm not saying that just because a woman is in the kitchen, a man should also be in the kitchen, or just because a man is a breadwinner, a woman should also strive to do that. It's about men and women having the ability to make a choice of what they want. It's as simple as that. It's the ability to make a choice. That, if a choice is given to a man, why not a choice given to a woman? And vice versa.
So proud of your thinking, of your thoughts. Many times, ladies and gentlemen, you would have seen, on the road, if you are driving, you find a car going zigzag, and people have this MCP mentality when they say, देखा वो गाड़ी चल रही है, पक्का कोई लेडीज चला रही होंगी. The term, कोई लेडी चला रही, कोई लेडीज लोग चला रहे होंगे. That's a terminology, and it's wrong. And in fact, many times we often use a language, like, ah, don't cry like a girl. So what do you mean don't cry like a girl? So it is. I think the society will not change unless or until we change it from within, from our own selves. Then a change will come, and we need more people like Nikhata, Ranpal over here, who stand for women right, who stand for a cause, who stand for what is right and what is wrong. Yeah, and thank you so much for being in conversation with us. And I really did not realize time कैसे निकल गया आपसे गुफ्तगू करके. Any last message you would like to give to our viewers, or to throw to the universe before we part ways, in fact? And let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I had been wanting to get some time of Nikata for a very, very long time, and today I was lucky enough that she could spare some time. Thank you, Nikata, for spending time. Yes, tell
No,
us
thank
about
you so much for organizing this. And I think my message to the universe would be, one day I would really love to see where, both men, women, all genders, people, just humans, have the ability to choose, whether whether they like pink or whether they like blue, whether they like Barbies or toys, whether they want to join the infantry or join the army as doctors. I think everybody should have the same choices in life.
Absolutely. And you, very good point brought out by you. Who says that pink is a girl's color, blue is a boy's color? ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. ठीक है. So great, Nikhata, and it's great learning, and I'm glad that you threw light on such good thing, and it was very educative for me to be in conversation with this intelligent genius from TIS. Bhai, Vilay has returned. Thank you so much, Nikhata. It was wonderful. God bless you. Thank you very
Thank you
much.
so much.
Convey my regards to your parents. Bye bye. Take care.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye, Nikhata.